Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is Meerkat and today I've got my Game Week 11 team selection for you guys. If you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And yeah, let's get straight into how Game Week 10 got on. And it was a green arrow. There's a very obvious player lacking in the team though. I did decide to sell Haaland before the Game Week 10 deadline, and yeah, it was a bit of a poor transfer, that one. And not only did I get rid of Haaland, but I also got rid of Mbermo. So, yeah, pretty devastating in terms of the points there. I brought in Saka and Watkins, who were the two players who, you know, most people consider pretty essential to get in this game week. And, yeah, it ended up going pretty terribly, backfiring very heavily. I think that cost me somewhere about 20-ish points. And then I could have also potentially captained Haaland. So I could have potentially been in the hundreds this game week if I just left my team as it was. But I felt like I had to do something. And I felt like I had to cover Watkins and Saka, as they were two very highly owned assets with incredibly good fixtures on paper. But I completely forgot that Haaland is Haaland and that he can do what he does in any game whatsoever. I do think, though, that the Man United game will be a bit of a peak for him. The Man United defence was just absolutely shocking. It is just a perfect fixture for him. But he does play Bournemouth at home next. And yeah, that's a bit of a terrifying fixture on paper. We'll have to wait and see how good he does. But getting into how the team actually did, Areola with 3 points, consistent. It's all right getting a save point. Flecken on the bench getting 6 against Chelsea. I do think I was right to play Areola instead against Everton. I mean, the chances of Everton scoring were far lower than Chelsea, so I'm not beating myself up about that one. Tsimikas again still providing incredibly good value. I can't believe that I said he wouldn't be that great of an option a couple of weeks ago. I've not regretted getting him in my team. He just seems to be racking up those clean sheets for the really good Liverpool fixtures. Really nice. Cash getting 5 points, subbed just before Luton scored to lose the clean sheet for Aston Villa, but yeah, just managed to bank his points. He's really lost his attacking threat since he's been pushed back to right back rather than playing right mid. But yeah, does seem to be suffering quite a bit from the positional change. Salah captaincy getting 16 points, 8-pointer. Again, very fortunate with the goal he actually scored with the Turner error that he made, but still very happy with the points there, and he just seems to be consistently turning over. And again, he did outscore the likes of Saka and Watkins, who are very popular captaincy picks. I don't have Son in the team as well, someone who did very well. Again, the two players I had to worry about were Haaland and Son, and they both got double-digit scores. I just can't get it right with the players that I can't have in my team. Just can't have everyone, and the ones that I don't have always seem to score really highly. Maddison getting 6 points, an assist. Nice again, ticking over. He's not really been setting the world alight, Maddison, especially at his price, but it's still been okay. He seems to be ticking over, and he's not scoring that much less than Son, and he is covering it for the price. So I'm okay. I'm okay with him in the team. Saka only getting 6 points, very disappointing. Didn't really look too threatening in the Sheffield United game. And Nketiah, though, seems to be the one getting all of the chances. Really good display by him. Really interested in him. And him being in the team does really seem to harm the impact that Saka and Martinelli have. Jesus seems to be quite an enabler for those two, but with Nketiah in the side, it seems to be him getting all the chances. So really well done if you went for that as a really differential punt up top. Diaby getting 13 points really saved my game week. A little bit of a differential, to be honest, but yeah, with the fixtures so good, I didn't want to bench him, so I kept him in the team. Wilson as well getting 13 points. Watching the game back, I was very lucky to get that many points from Wilson. The penalty was really dodgy. Don't really think it should have been given, and his goal before that as well sort of just fortunately bounced towards him. But sometimes that's all you need in FPL is the luck, and I think he was only about 2% owned or something like that. So yeah, really nice. He basically covered me for not having Haaland, which was a big relief. Watkins, massive disappointment getting him in and not getting a return. Again, he did put up fantastic data during the game. He did get a lot of chances. He had an absolute sitter that he hit right at the keeper. So I wasn't disappointed with the transfer itself, and to be honest, his ownership was so high. I could have just gained by not getting him in the first place, but it was so dangerous to go without him that I'm okay with the transfer that I made, the decision I made. And Alvarez really displaying that he can't cover for Haaland. Just not really. He was barely in it, was he? I didn't really remember any chances. Everything was falling to Haaland in that Manchester derby. So yeah, that's a bit of a tough one there. Bench Neto again with the 5 points. Wasn't really ever going to play him, but really unfortunately seems he's come away with a serious injury, so he might be out for a few weeks, which is a real shame because I did want to play him for that really nice Sheffield United fixture, but now I'm going to have to move him on. To be honest, I was thinking about, so I did the 2 transfers. I was thinking about moving in Son for a -4 to just cover him. Yes, it would have got me 10 points, but it would have meant getting rid of Neto, and it would have meant I would have benched Wilson if I was going to bench anyone for Son. So yeah, I would have actually lost out on even more points there. So it does seem to be the more patient I am, the better I seem to be doing. So that's really interesting when we get into Game Week 11. Moving on to how the team is looking. I don't know why in the screenshot I've got Areola in goal. That should be Flecken in goal. I have switched between the two. They are playing each other, but Flecken has the home advantage, and I do think Brentford's team does seem to be putting up better data when it comes to defensive output. So I do think that Flecken stands a better chance of getting a clean sheet than Areola. I do think that both teams will score in that game, so I'm not really going to be disappointed if I don't get a return. I'm just going to be annoyed if I get it wrong in terms of the 50-50. Trippier with the tough fixture against Arsenal. I'm considering moving him on. The fixtures are getting quite a bit tougher for Newcastle, and he's just taken up a lot of funds, and he is preventing me from getting someone like Son into the team. I do have 4.3 million in the bank though, so I could do Neto to Son. That could just be my move this game week. Tsimikas, Luton, brilliant fixture. Expect him to play again. We'll have to wait and see. The cup fixture being played tonight. We'll have to wait and see if he starts in the cup. Hopefully not. Cash, with again good fixture against Nottingham Forest. Not really looking to get rid of him anytime soon. Captaincy is definitely going to be on Salah. Even if I move Haaland back into the team, my armband is set on Salah. I'll try and flash up the graphic on the screen now, but basically Luton have a horrendous problem with conceding on the right-hand side or their left-hand side. So the right wingers seem to always have a field day against Luton. So despite the fact it's away, my armband is absolutely on Salah, and I'm set on that. I know Haaland is also a fantastic pick, and I might consider getting him back in, but he's not going to be my captain, no matter what. Salah is going to have my armband for certain. Maddison with the Chelsea fixture. Again, not really too bad on paper, is it? Chelsea do seem to be leaking in goals. I'm just worried about not owning Son. I don't think I can own both Haaland and Son without taking a ton of hits. So I am probably going to have to decide which of the two I'm going to be getting in this week. Saka with the away fixture against Newcastle, not great on paper, but the fixtures are great for Arsenal coming up, so I'm okay with holding Saka in the team. Not hopeful for many returns there, though. Diaby with the Nottingham Forest game, again, after his brilliant display, finally holding on to him for so long against Luton and him getting the returns finally. I'm really happy to hold on to him. Wilson with the Arsenal at home game. Again, not ideal. Don't think I'd want to play Wilson in this fixture. The Arsenal defence just seems to be very tough. It's a bit of a 50-50, I'd say, between Saka and Wilson this game week, to be honest, in terms of who I want to play. I'll have to probably see the odds of who's more likely to score out of those two. It's quite a tough one, both on penalties. Wilson probably a bit more, he's going to get probably a bit more chances given his position, but Saka, I don't know, Saka's probably a better player. Is that harsh to say? It's a bit of a difficult one between those two, I'd say. Watkins with a brilliant fixture, don't want to bench him. And Alvarez with the home fixture against Bournemouth is an interesting one because it's a fantastic game on paper, isn't it? But Alvarez he was just very off the ball in that Manchester United game, and I'm just worried that maybe all the chances are going to keep falling to Haaland now, as it did seem to happen in that Manchester derby. And Neto, unfortunately, on the bench for his really nice game against Sheffield United, but he is injured. So moving into talking about transfers, I could take a -4 to get Haaland back in. Now, I don't like reversing transfers, but I've told myself to not be stubborn this season. I'm watching that Manchester United game without Haaland in the team was horrible. I know his ownership wasn't too low, so it didn't actually harm my rank too much. I did still get a green arrow at the end of the day, despite the fact I didn't own Haaland. But going without him was really, really horrible. And to be honest, this is probably the last game week that I feel really, really worried about not having Haaland. But I didn't have Son either, so it's not like I was spreading the funds around. So I could get Haaland in basically two ways is how I'm looking at it. The first is to downgrade someone, so to do Wilson to Haaland. Wilson to Haaland's always going to be the move. I want to keep Watkins over Wilson, I think. Just because I think Isak might be back sooner rather than later. It could be downgrading Alvarez to a 4.5, a really cheap forward, or maybe a 5 million, and then getting in Haaland. That would free up enough funds to get him in. Maddison could go down as well to the likes of a 6 million mid, so maybe a Gordon could be one that I go for to accommodate Haaland back in, or the most likely one that I'm looking at is downgrading Trippier to a defender that's 4.9 million or less. So I've kind of focused on two options there. Either Gehi from Crystal Palace. I did look at Anderson, but he's now 5 million, so I couldn't actually afford him anyway. Just because of Crystal Palace's really nice fixtures coming up, and I think he will do the job at the back. Or Dalot. Now, I know Man United's fixtures are brilliant, but Man United themselves have been terribly defensively, so I'm not really hopeful of too many clean sheets. But the fixtures are so good on paper. I think it's just a really big differential to have a United player in, despite the fact they're playing so terribly. And I think Dalot has shown he has got attacking output as well. So I am really considering Dalot as well. I do have the exact funds to do that as long as Haaland doesn't go up in price. I will have to check if he has already. And then the other move I could do is obviously Neto up to Son, because I have enough funds to do that. And then I just bench Wilson. So then I have to commit myself to the non-Haaland strategy. I left myself enough in the bank to do the reverse if I wanted to. So please let me know in the comments, would you reverse? Would you get Haaland back in? Or do you think I should commit, get in Son, spread around the funds, and just go for that, basically? The other move I have considered is Darwin Núñez, just because the Liverpool fixtures are so, so good, and he does seem to be playing a lot more often. It would be Wilson, I think, moving to Darwin, which is a bit of a reckless move, maybe. But yeah, I could also do both of those moves that I said, the Son and the Darwin moves, and then bench Saka potentially for that tough fixture against Newcastle. I'm not too hopeful of returns from Saka in that one. But yeah, lots of decisions that I could be making here. And I will obviously post my final team on my Twitter to let you know what the moves I made were. Moving on, though, to the mini league team of the game week. Harvey Whiting with Alison Wonderland. And this, if you've been watching a few of these videos, the team selection videos, this team name, Alison Wonderland, might sound familiar to you. And that's because Harvey has now become the first person to win a game week twice. He's the only person who's done that so far. So he's the first person to get 2 gold medals, and that will obviously put him up to first place. So really well done, Harvey. With 95 points, a fantastic game week with Haaland and Wilson as the front two. That is amazing. The popular options of Alvarez and Watkins both blanking, and you had both the ones who hauled. All you needed was Nketiah to complete the perfect set there. Diaby as well with a haul. Salah captaincy as well with the 16 points. Son again getting the massive score. Doesn't have Trippier, who got the 0 points and has a full house of returns in defence. And also Areola getting 3 points as well. So a really, really nice score there. Very solid. 685 points as well. Puts him very highly ranked overall, not just in the mini league. Speaking of which, moving on to the leaderboard. So Harvey now moves up to first place with 3 top 10 finishes and 2 gold medals and a bronze. So actually every time he's come in the top 10, he's come in the top 3. So really, really impressive there. We've still got quite a few people there with 1 gold medal, obviously putting them high up in the ranks, and a couple with 1 gold medal and 2 top 10s. Putting them relatively high. And then, of course, all the silver medals there. We haven't had enough gold medals to wipe everyone off of the off of the leaderboard, but I am still keeping track of everyone who isn't available, who isn't being displayed here on the leaderboard. I thought 20 was probably the right amount of number of people to show here. Again, I still haven't reached a top 10 finish. There's actually quite a few people who are very highly ranked in the mini league. A couple of people who are nearly in the top 10 in the mini league, but still haven't come in the top 10 in any individual week. Just very consistently doing well, but not quite reaching that top 10 level. But yeah, getting very competitive now. A gold medal could send you absolutely flying up the ranks there. I mean, if you look at some of the guys with silver medals there, getting a gold medal would put them up into the top 3. So yeah, really interesting there, really hottening up. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so and like the video if you enjoyed. Really helps getting my content out there. I do a lot on Twitter as well. If you want to follow my Twitter, it's at FPL Meerkat on Twitter. And yeah, I hope you guys have a really good game week, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.